What's up, everybody? Peter McKinnon here, and today we're talking about camera movement. Now, not handheld camera movement, but gimbals and sliders and stabilizers and just cool stuff to get epic looking shots. So, don't know what this is, but let's go.
I lost my way, no words to say. Time flies by on my mind. I'm cutting down the wires, feeling kinda tired. I think I lost myself, I think I lost myself, I think I lost it all. I'm cutting down the wires, I'm feeling kinda tired, I think I lost myself, I think I lost it all.
All right, a couple weeks ago, we did a video on how to get great looking footage without the use of anything extra, just handheld shots and how to make them look as smooth as possible and cinematic and just buttery, smooth, slow cooked goodness. And that was a fun time to be had. But this is kind of the latter part to that, which is how to get those same smooth, epic looking shots, but using gimbals and sliders and some of the tech that I've been using lately, some of the things that I own and think are cool and that you guys might be interested in checking out for yourself. So without further ado, let's start talking about some of the cool stuff I've been using lately. But first, coffee. Second, thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this episode. And you guys know we've got a relationship with them and they sponsor this channel and they help me out and allow me to continue doing what I love. And they have a great product, which is why I chose to go with them. It's an all-in-one platform where everything's done for you. So if you need a website, a blog, a store, whatever it is, these are the guys that I recommend you check out. They have tons of award-winning, beautiful designer templates, award-winning 24/7 customer service. So if you get stuck or have questions, they have your back no matter what. They make everything easy in domains and all of that nonsense that usually comes with web design. Gone are the days. So head over to squarespace.com/McKinnon, and if you enter code McKinnon at checkout, I can save you 10% off your first purchase. So definitely give it a shot, browse around, check it out. The link is in the description below, so just click on that and it'll take you right there. Definitely a product I believe in, and I think you guys will love it too. So thank you to Squarespace, did this again, for sponsoring this episode. Back to you, Pete. So number one, obviously a drone. Drones are crazy beneficial now. I've talked a little bit about how I think drones have kind of been like commodified, if you will. Like there's so many drones in the air now and everybody has one that when you see super awesome drone footage, you're kind of just like, yeah, you know, that's what, you know, to be expected. It's a drone. It's kind of lost that like uniqueness that it once had. Nevertheless, they are still incredible tools that, you know, you just throw in your backpack these days. Now, there's a company called Polar Pro. They've sent me some ND filters before, a case for the Mavic. You guys saw it. I think I did it in a mail time episode, but they sent me this thing recently called the Katana, which is a Mavic tray. And check this out, I didn't know what it was at first, but then I opened it up and was like, super cool idea. So essentially, it's a frame that holds your Mavic in place so that you can actually shoot with it handheld. So if you don't want to fly it around, but you want to take advantage of the fact that this has a 3-axis gimbal, you just slide this Johnny around it, you mount the phone up top, boop, just like that, and you run around and just basically now you've got like a Ronin M in the form of a drone, and it's pretty cool. So these are some of the shots that we got with it yesterday. It was my first time using it. Now, pro tip, I had no idea that if you're not using this with a remote, you actually have to like, it's hard to get in here. Hang on, let's look at this. You actually have to get like your knife. I just don't feel like taking it out of the tray again. But under this slip here, there's a little switch where the SD card goes in, where the micro SD card, in the Mavic anyway. And there's a little switch that says Wi-Fi or RC. And if you're using the remote, you've got it on RC, you gotta flip it over to Wi-Fi, and then you can use the Mavic with just the app, the DJI Go 4 app, and you're all set. And you just connect, your phone mounts on top, and then you just run around, and you've got an incredible 3-axis gimbal that shoots 4K. So that's a great idea, super cool. Now, I was just with Philip Bloom last week, and I remember seeing him like back when the Phantom 3 Pro was like being pushed really hard. I remember seeing him sitting on like the back of a quad holding the Phantom 3 Pro being like, hey, you don't need to fly this to get great stabilized footage. So it's definitely like, this isn't the first time I'm ever seeing that method, which is why I kind of think the Osmo originally was invented, because I think it kind of derived from that. But This is a super cool, affordable way. Like this is like less than 50 bucks and you can get your Mavic handheld. So if you can't fly it somewhere, but you still want to use like the 4K buttery footage and get a little gimbal action there without having to spend like 1,000 bones on a Ronin, this guy might check it out. As you can see, some of the clips, it looks pretty good. So I feel like a little bit of like, I kind of felt a little weird like running around with this. Like it was very small and whatever. So that's called the Katana Polar Pro. Thanks guys, this is amazing. So this is a great example of taking something that you already have that's used for something else, buying an accessory that turns it into yet something else. So you're wanting to get those shots, your budget is low, you're not doing this for commercial purposes or for a job, you just want to start introducing more 3-axis gimbal stuff, handheld footage. This is a great option for that kind of thing if you want to move past handheld shooting. Okay, number 2 is the Ronin M. I use the Ronin M with my 1DX Mark II. Now, if anybody is using the Ronin M with a DSLR that has a battery grip on the bottom or is a larger body, like a pro body, like the 1DX, you have to buy the extension rods that are sold separately for the Ronin M, because you got to bring that clamp right down to the bottom to get the center of balance all. That's the thing, guys. Like 3-axis gimbals are amazing, but don't plan on setting them up in an instant because they take a long time to like tune and fine tune and balance. So when you get your Ronin M, you got to bust it out with the tuning stand. Now I know they've brought out like the Ronin 2 and I don't even know what that's priced at yet or anything like that, but you know, you're on the edge of a cliff, you're trying to balance this thing, you've got your screwdrivers, you've got the Allen keys and screws and the plates, and you put it in the Y-axis and X and Z and it's backwards pan and tilt and it's no easy task. Now, once you've done it like 100 times, it does get way faster. So I only have it down to now like one little adjustment that I need to do every single time that I plug my camera into it, if you will. So it's pretty quick, but still, if you're learning, if you're in a hurry, if it's windy, all of these things, you know, it slows down production time. So I will say that in using all of this type of equipment, if you're using 3-axis gimbals, if you're using sliders and tripods and all kinds of tech, to get these smooth cinematic shots, that drastically slows down your shooting time. So if you've budgeted like 3 hours of shoot time, but you're gonna be using all of this stuff, a friend of mine told me today, budget yourself that time and then double it to be safe, because you always run into problems. Something happens, it's not charged, it's too windy, you gotta go inside. It takes a long time shooting with all of this equipment to get something done, where it's just busting out a handheld shot and being like, wow, see you later. Much faster, much quicker. So the Ronin M is amazing. The battery life is great. I've actually never had the battery die. Like I've never used the Ronin long enough for the battery to just fully die. It gets heavy. That one arm, just like vlogging with the 1DX, it gets really heavy. So you need to put it down. And then the downside is you got to put it down on the stand. But all of these things that I'm kind of making into negative things, the footage just looks so good. Like look at these shots with the Ronin M, shot at 120 frames per second. You can run warp on it if you have to beyond that. So now you've got like 3 stages of stabilization. They look so good. So it is a pain to bring around, but no pain, no game, right? That's the saying for a reason. So if you do put in the time to balance the Ronin and get it set up, you will be running around getting the most beast shots you've ever got. And you'll be like, this is the best thing ever. It's just, you gotta put in a bit of blood, sweat, and tears to get there. Okay, so that's the Ronin, highly recommended. Next thing up is the Rhino slider. Now these guys hit me up and were like, you wanna try out some of our tech? And I was like, of course, send it away. So they sent me this slider. Now they didn't pay me to say this, but they did give me the slider for free. I come from like when like sliders were super popular, I had like 17 different versions. I had all kinds of different pocket dolly type sliders and rails and rubber bands and just like straight up like budget Home Depot sliders. Like I was obsessed. I would just be sliding all day, every day. And then you realize that, you know, you need to just relax on the slide shots. But the Rhino slider is amazing. So it's made from carbon fiber, so it's super light, but it's motorized. So a lot of people just be like, yeah, I don't really care about that. But having like a perfectly smooth motion from left to right every single time, where it actually like ramps down when it gets to the end of the slider. So it's not just poof, hitting the end each time. It actually ramps down and stops on each side. And you can program so many different like moves into this thing. So they sent me a couple different things that actually pair with the slider. This is one of them. This is what they call the Rhino Ark. Now the Rhino Ark allows you to get pan shots as you slide. So you set an in point, just like you're editing, and an out point. So you can turn the dial, which actually turns the top of this electronically via a remote. Super cool, like come on. And then when you get to the out point, you spin the dial and choose where you want that pan to end. So as it slides, it pans from your in point to your out point. So you can get crazy looking cinematic shots. You can go as slow as you want. You can go like super fast. And what that's great for is people that like doing time lapses. So if you want to time lapse something from the left and pan all the way to the right as it's sliding from left to right or right to left, you can set it to be like, I want this to be a 12-hour slide. So over the course of 12 hours, that slider will move from point A to point B and capture individual frames as it goes. And it even stops the motor so that the camera can get the frame without image blur, and then it continues the slide, stops the motor, the camera takes the photo. How does someone think of this stuff? Like, when did this all get invented? It just blows my mind. So they sent me this Ark and it goes on top of the slider. It's done by a remote. Everything was thought out so well. The remote even magnetizes to the side of the motor at the back. And like I said, they're not paying me to say this. I'm just so pumped on this stuff. Like, I feel like I'm not old enough to say when I grew up, cameras were never, but come on, like when I grew up, none of this stuff existed. So now with like, we've got so many cool things to tell our stories in so many ways that it's just incredible. So a slider is a great tool for that. It's also a really good tool if you just want to like spice up an interview, because a lot of times, like for instance, this shot right here, I could have put it on a slider. If I had like a couple other people helping me, I might actually do that. So then at least for this like 5-minute talking head segment, you're gonna get a camera move from like left to right. So like something else is happening to just spice it up a little bit instead of a static shot. So it's really good for that. Now, one thing you need to keep in mind if you're using a slider is you sometimes wanna have some kind of a foreground element, because if you're just locked in on someone, let's say they're dead center and there's nothing really happening around, it's maybe like a nice open field or something like that, like your buddy's taking photos, like I did an example right here. You slide from left to right, but because there's nothing in the foreground to like lock your eyes onto, it almost doesn't look like it's sliding at all. So if we bring that same slider down to like the ground, we'll just stick it behind like a park bench, for example. Now when we slide from left to right, you at least get to see the movement happening because of that foreground obstruction. So when you're using a slider, look for that kind of thing. Look for things to slide through, look for things to slide forward and backwards or coming away from something through a door, so that there's some kind of visual marker that the camera's actually moving, or you're just kind of using your slider for no reason. So keep that in mind. Visual foreground cues that you can lock onto when you're using a slider will make those sliding shots just a little bit nicer. And that's where I'm gonna leave it today, guys. I just wanted to chime in and give you guys some options with regards to what you can buy to get smooth, stabilized footage. It's a question I'm asked all the time in the comments, and how did you get those shots, and how's your footage look so smooth? And this is how it looks so smooth. I use either a drone, I'm gonna start using this handheld thing on the drone sometimes to check that out. I use the Ronin a lot, and I use a slider a lot. So those are the things that stabilize my footage. So that's it for me, guys. Hit that like button, smash it if you so desire. Subscribe if you aren't already, and I will see you guys in the next video.